Hello there, welcome to today's video. Today we'll be doing a recap of a 2021 movie titled The Voyeurs. This movie stars the beautiful Sydney Sweeney and Justice Smith, so sit back and enjoy this recap. As the movie begins, we see Pippa and Thomas. They are in a happy relationship and they just moved into a new apartment. Pippa is an ophthalmologist and Thomas is a musician. We see the couple listening to a woman talk to them about the rules of the new apartment. She tells them not to draw or paint on the wall, and they also hang anything from the ceiling of the apartment. Thomas tries to understand if they can hang curtains because technically curtains do not hang from the ceiling but from the wall. As the woman leaves, the couple has all the time and space to themselves. As they enjoy their romantic night and new apartment, they spot another apartment right on the other side of the street. They stare at this and notice another young couple inside it. They are intrigued by how clearly they can see the couple right from their own apartment. They laugh about it, and when Pippa suggests that they have done enough looking and should stop spying on their neighbors, Thomas wants to stare more. But those nights end with them getting a lot more intimate. I'm pretty sure you already know what I'm talking about. The next day, Pippa arrives at her workplace and she meets her best friend Ari without wasting much time. Pippa tells Ari about everything that happened last night. From now, she and Thomas enjoy their first night in the new apartment to how freely they could watch their neighbors opposite the street enjoy themselves. This is the part Ari is more interested in. She suggests that Pippa get a pair of binoculars so she can spy on her neighbors more effectively and get every juicy detail. Pippa is against this, as to her it is an invasion of privacy, but Ari does not see it this way. To Ari, they aren't hurting anyone. Back at home, we see Pippa and Thomas casually staring at their neighbors. It does not look creepy or obsessive in any way. It looks like they are just looking at something that is obviously in their line of sight. The couple jokingly tries to guess their neighbors' names, then they see the man choke on something and it looks like he's gonna pass out or something worse, and to make matters worse, the woman has no idea the man is struggling. Pippa and Thomas get really worried and Thomas tries to call 911, but Pippa wants him to go over immediately as that will be faster. But luckily, none of that had to happen, as the woman suddenly sees what is going on with that man and offers first aid that stabilizes him. As days go by, staring at this couple becomes more of a habit for Pippa and Thomas, especially Pippa. One time she gets lost staring at the man standing half naked. One day, Pippa is working by the road and she sees a store that has a pair of binoculars for sale. She decides to buy it. At this point, her extreme obsession is obvious. That night, Pippa and Thomas use the binoculars to spy on the couple again and they see something new. The lady is not around, but the man invites another lady in. This new lady came by for a shoot earlier, so things get steamy between the two and they get down to business, and I'm not talking about shoots right now. It is Thomas' turn to use the binoculars, and as they watch the neighbor and the unknown lady make love, Pippa gets an idea to touch Thomas in a special type of way. Once again, I have the feeling you already know what I'm talking about. Pippa and Thomas switch places. Pippa uses the binoculars and Thomas stimulates her. This is basically them watching live pornography and acting on it. The next day, Pippa and Thomas are seen with Ari and another friend. Joni, Pippa, and Thomas update them on their neighbors on how the man is a cheater on all of that. Pippa then says that she wishes she could also hear the neighbors and not just see them. Joni tells them about how she used to use some special mics to spy on someone. She suggests that Pippa and Thomas do the same. They buy into the idea. Back at home, Thomas explains to Pippa that for the plan to work, they'll need to actually enter their neighbor's apartment to set up the whole sound system. Luckily for them, the neighbors are hosting a costume party in their apartment. This is the perfect entry for Pippa and Thomas. They got themselves costumes and gained access to the house. Although the whole party takes some unexpected turns, Pippa and Thomas are able to successfully set the whole thing up. Back in their own apartment, the couple is ready to listen to their neighbor's conversation. The first thing they hear is an argument, and of course not just here, but they can also see it. And the woman is calling the man out for cheating. Turns out she already found out. But the man denies this accusation. He even finds a way to emotionally manipulate the woman into apologizing. He turned the table around and went from being defensive to being the one with all the power. The next day, we see a very sad Pippa at work. She's still thinking about what transpired between the neighbors last night and she's not happy about it. She feels really bad for the lady, and that is a normal thing. No woman wants to see another woman get manipulated and cheated. Suddenly, the lady visits the clinic where Pippa works. She's here to change her specs. She's referred to Pippa for treatment. For the first time, Pippa and the woman have a conversation and it goes really well. The two instantly become friends and Pippa learns that the woman's name is Julia. Before saying their goodbyes, Julia invites Pippa to join her in the spa. Pippa instantly accepts the invitation. Back at home, Thomas sees the man have another shoot session with another model, but it is not just a shoot for the man. He convinces the model to do a nude shoot and they end the night doing things only expected of couples. This shows us that the man cheating is not a one-time thing and he is an unrepentant cheater. Pippa comes back home and she shares the good news with Thomas, but he isn't as excited as she expected. He instead wants them to stop spying on their neighbors. He claims that whatever happens between their neighbors is not their business and they should try off it in every way possible. Pippa, the woman, thinks she's now friends with Julia and as friends has the right to watch her friend and protect her. Pippa and Julia meet up at the spa as they planned. The duo share personal information. Pippa learns that Julia's boyfriend's name is Sebastian. As they talk, Pippa can spot that Julia has some difficulties in the relationship. Well, not like Pippa did not know already. Later that night, Pippa sees Sebastian disposing a used condom. She connects to Julia's printer and prints out an instruction. She asks Julia to check the bin for used condoms. Julia checks and sees it. In the middle of this, Thomas wakes up and sees what Pippa is up to. As he cautions her, both of them see Julia pick up a knife and try to stab Sebastian. They are terrified at what is about to happen next, but fortunately Julia changes her mind. The next morning, Thomas complains to Pippa one more time, and this time she agrees to put an end to spying permanently. But as they hug it out, they see Julia commit suicide by stabbing herself. Thomas blames Pippa for causing Julia's death. He breaks up with her and goes to stay with his sisters. Days go by and Pippa is still alone in the house and she is hurt by the recent happenings. She just lost a friend and and boyfriend. One day, she sees Sebastian go to a bar, and for some reason she follows him there. She stares at Sebastian till he notices. And he thinks he has seen her before, and he comes to sit with her. He's a really direct person, and he asks unexpected questions. He manages to convince Pippa to come back with him to his apartment. Back at his apartment, he brings out the model in her, and not just any type of model, the one that is cool with nude shoots. But that isn't the only shocking thing that happened that night. She falls for him, and they make love. But things got worse. Thomas came back that night to reconcile with Pippa from the window of his apartment. He sees Pippa and Sebastian going at it. Thomas can't believe his eyes. Pippa comes back to the apartment and sees that Thomas has committed suicide also. This completely shatters Pippa, and she spends the next days in regret and guilt. One day, she meets up with Ari and talks to her about everything. Ari comforts her, and the duo decides to visit Sebastian's upcoming exhibition. They had already seen the posters for it days earlier. On getting to the exhibition, they see that Julia is still alive and she's very well. But that was not. The whole exhibition was about Pippa and Thomas. Turns out Sebastian and Julia own the apartment Pippa and Thomas rented and have already had cameras installed in different parts of the house. The exhibition shows the whole storyline of Pippa and Thomas moving into the house and spying on their neighbors across the street. Pippa can't believe her eyes and is overwhelmed by shame. She runs to the neighbor's apartment and she sees all the computers and cameras. She angrily destroys everything. She then sees the drink that Thomas drank last and pours it out, but she notices dead birds where she poured it. Turns out the drink was poisoned. Pippa knows Thomas was poisoned, as she's sure Thomas will never take his life. On the news, Sebastian and Julia explain that before renting out their apartment, they included in the contract that they would be able to watch their tenants. They also state that their work will premiere globally soon. Getting back home, Sebastian and Julia see a bottle of wine waiting for them at their door. It is a gift. They don't read any meaning to this, and they drink it when they enter their apartment. As they drink and talk, their printer comes on. It is a message from Pippa. She tells them that she knows that Thomas did not commit suicide. The couple come out to end Julia once and for all. They see her on their roof and chase her to her office. There, Julia admits that she poisoned Thomas' drink, but as she talks, she falls to the ground and faints. Sebastian is worried, and Pippa tells him that the wine they got was from her and she already poisoned it. As the poison also takes over Sebastian, Pippa tells him that she's the last person or thing he will see. With both of them unconscious, Pippa destroys their vision with the machines in the clinic. As the move comes to a close, we see a new couple move into Pippa and Thomas' space, and we see that Sebastian and Julia are back to their apartment, but their apartment they're saying